If you are on Medicare or will be new to Medicare, and you live in either Pennsylvania, Vermont, Connecticut, Ohio, Rhode Island, Minnesota, Massachusetts, or New York, this video will have important information on Medicare that is specific to your state and can save you hundreds of dollars in your Medicare supplement premium. Now, most people that have been shopping for a Medicare supplement have already heard that most often Medigap Plan G offers a better combination of price and value than the very popular Medigap Plan F. Now that is true in most states, but not all. If you live in one of the states that I just mentioned, your Medicare supplement is subject to a state-specific law that reduces the value of Plan F and Plan G. In those states, it is often Plan N that offers the best combination of price and value. Here's why. As we look at this table of Medicare supplement plans, we see the plan name along the top row and the benefit categories in the left-hand column. If you look closely, we can see that the second to last benefit category is Medicare Part B excess charges. And it shows that both Plan F and Plan G offer insurance coverage in case you're subject to the Medicare Part B excess charge. These are the only two plans that offer this benefit. Built into the monthly premiums of Plan F and Plan G is the cost of paying all potential Part B excess charges. What this table doesn't show is that each of the states that I had mentioned have a law that forbids Part B excess charges. If you live in Pennsylvania, Vermont, or Connecticut, or any of the 8 states that I mentioned earlier, you don't need to pay extra insurance against possible Medicare Part B excess charges. You have no risk of being subject to the Part B excess charge for Medicare services in your state. So what is a Medicare Part B excess charge? Well, Medicare Part B is that portion of Medicare that helps you pay for outpatient and physician services, where Medicare Part A is for inpatient services in a hospital. Medicare Part B is outpatient and physician services. After you pay the annual deductible for Part B, and that's $166 in 2016, then Medicare pays for 80% of the Medicare billing. Now, when a doctor decides to accept Medicare patients, then he or she will have to sign a contract with Medicare. And in that contract, they agree to either accept assignment or not accept assignment. When they accept assignment, they lose control over the prices for their services because Medicare assigns the price for each service. And then in that agreement, Medicare pays its portion, and then which is the 80%, and then the rest is either paid by your supplement or by yourself if you have no supplement. Now, for a more specific definition, we can always refer to the Medicare and You guidebook, which you should all have. And in Medicare and You, their definition of assignment is an agreement by your doctor, provider, or supplier to be paid directly by Medicare to accept the payment amount Medicare approves for the service and not to bill you for any more than the Medicare deductible and coinsurance. You can also find that, of course, in the 2016 version of the Medicare and You guide as well. So a doctor that does not accept Medicare assignment can charge you more than what Medicare would normally charge, and they can bill you directly. That charge, it is limited. They can only charge you up to 15% more, and the exact formula is a little involved. You can look that up more on Medicare.gov. But the bottom line is that if you have Medicare Supplement Plan F or the Medicare Supplement Plan G, then you're paying for insurance so that if there's a Medicare excess charge, you're covered. But if you live in Pennsylvania, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Ohio, New York, Michigan, and Minnesota, you don't need that coverage because your state forbids those excess charges for all the services in your state that are Medicare covered. It's kind of like paying for a homeowner's insurance that includes a pool when you don't have a pool. It's just excess cost that you don't need. Typically, a Plan N which we talked about, that does not have that coverage for the Part B excess charge, will save you between 25 and 30% over Plan F and between 15 and 25% over Plan G. So let's take a look at some actual prices. We'll take a look at two different zip codes, and you can see how Plan N can save you money over Plan F and Plan G. All right, so we just want to show a couple quick examples so you can see the kind of money you can save switching to a Plan N if you're in the right state. And we're going to pick on two different here. We'll start with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and let's see here. Here's a zip code 19406, and this software we can see that you can use a woman who's Plan F and at age 65. We can choose any age, obviously, and what we're going to find is that it's all pretty much going to be the same as far as the amount of savings regardless of age. So let's start by getting a quote real quick here, and we're starting by looking at Plan F, and what we want to do is show how much you can save with Plan N versus Plan F or Plan G. Just to make this easier, we're going to switch it from a monthly price to an annual, and take out the expanded quotes so that you can see that, for example, here in this particular zip code, there are a lot of companies offering a Plan F. And note the prices. You start all the way from $1,900 a year all the way up to over $3,000, one at $4,000 for the exact same plan. So obviously you need to shop. Regardless, you should be shopping your plan on a regular basis to see if you're getting a good price. I won't say that the cheapest is always the best. I'm not saying that, but you should shop. So what we have here, let's take a look and clear that out. So we can say that a Plan F here is about $1,900. Let's use some round numbers here. We'll save that number. We'll go to Plan G real quick. Same person. What would the Plan G cost them? Well, the Plan G can cost them from $1,900, you're coming down to about $1,500 or $1,600. You save about $300 for a Plan G. Now, considering that the only difference between the Plan F and the Plan G is the $166 Part B deductible, that's still a better value. Plan G is still a better value than Plan F. But now we'll come down to Plan N, which is similar to the Plan F, except for the Plan G, excuse me, except for the fact that you are not overpaying because you're not paying for excess charges. You do on a Plan N have to pay a $20 copay when you visit the doctor, but it's minor for the amount of savings because now you're looking at $1,200 to $1,300 a month. And again, we come back and compare that to the $1,900. This is $1,300 a year, not month. Compare that to the $1,900. Now you're looking at about $600 a year savings. So 600, we'll clear that out here. 600 divided by 1,900 should be about a 30%, 32% savings here. So it's a significant amount of savings for going for Plan N. Again, because of the excess charges are not allowed in Pennsylvania with the Plan N, you are just simply not overpaying. You're not paying for insurance that you're not going to be able to use. Let's take another real quick look here. We're going to go to a Vermont zip code. And let's just, for the fun of it, change the age around. I'm a 71-year-old male. And again, we're going to start with the Plan F. And let's see what we get here. Now, Vermont, unlike Pennsylvania, is a community-rated state, and that means all the plans are community-rated. You can get more details on what that means in the Medicare and You guidebook. And we're going to go, again, let's go to annual rates and unexpand. You'll see there's not as many choices in here for plans. We're going to round it here and just say that for this 71-year-old, we're looking at about $2,300 for a Plan F. And if we go to a Plan G, again, unexpand, and so you're saving, really you're only saving for the best plan about $300. It's a little bit of a value considering, again, the only difference between the Plan G and the Plan F is the $166 annual Part B deductible. Now let's move down to Plan N, which is better priced for Vermont. And if I keep the right buttons here, there we go. Now you're looking at something that's more reasonable, about $1,400. I would not necessarily go with the lowest price here, but we're not going to get into that in this video. But let's just say here, you go down from $2,300 down to about $1,440, $1,500. You're saving $800 on the $2,300, $800 a year. That's a considerable savings, and your only inconvenience is paying the $20 copay when you go see the doctor. Again, this is because Plan N is not charging you for excess charges that are not permitted in your state anyway. So that's the savings you're going to experience. How do you find your own and what your own savings are going to be? Well, take a look at the quote request form. Give us the information we'll need. We'll get you the prices on your own plan and how much you can save. It's very simple, painless, doesn't cost anything. It really is a no-brainer to at least give that a try. So if you live in a state that forbids Medicare Part B excess charges, but you have a Medicare Supplement Plan F or Plan G, you're paying for insurance that you probably can't use, and you may be overpaying by 15 to 30% for your coverage. Now remember, unlike Medicare Advantage plans, with Medicare Supplement plans, there is no open season. You can save money on your Medicare Supplement plan any time of year. But the first step is to request a quote. Let us do some shopping for you and show you how much you can save. Click the link either on this video or the one below, and we'll email you back the prices so you can see what you can save and make an informed decision. I'm Matthew Clausen with MedigapSeminars.org. Thank you for watching.